Tommi Rose. We're going to talk about season four. We're going to spend a little Valentine's Day fun time and sharing Serenity Spirit.
Perfect.
I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for chatting with me here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and chat about things that I love to chat about.
Sweet Magnolias season four has just come out here on February 6th, and I don't know if you keep up with social media, but it's just like nonstop chatter about, of course, when are we getting season five? Because where
Oh
we
man.
kick off
I
this
wish I had any insight for you, but alas.
where we leave off here with season four, there's a cliffhanger of sorts, and yeah, all the buzz has been going on, all the good buzz, and then I've seen it. Cast members are posting that it's number one on Netflix, trending number one on Netflix, so it's getting all the marks that it should be. So hopefully, manifesting, we're gonna get a
Yeah,
season
right?
five here,
Use some of that Valentine's Day magic, right?
right? Give us some of that serenity spirit that we
Yes.
can use on this day of love to get us to season five for Sweet
Yes.
Magnolias.
Perfect.
I am a huge fan of the show and a huge fan of just this incredible cast and this community that exists both in front of the camera and the community that exists behind the camera. And um, part of that kind of cult kind of comes from you as well because we get to see these behind the scenes features that you've been sharing, and a little bit of extra focus on the love that exists again in front of and behind the screen with Sweet Magnolias. How did that start for you? What was this, a concept, or you just, kind of like we're just detailing your everyday time being on set?
Yeah, so it's so funny how it started because like I always tell people, and I feel like they don't believe me, but I really didn't start doing these VHS videos to post them on YouTube. When I started doing them, it was really just like I just had this idea where I was like, I always try to explain what it's like to be on a set to like my friends that have never been on a set or my family that has never been on a set, and has no idea how the whole thing goes. And I was like, it would be really cool. And also, like, I love taking pictures and I love taking videos and I love having memories like that. They're so important to me. And I document so many different things in my life. I also do my 1 second a day, but I've always been really big into like just preserving those memories as best as I possibly can. So I got this little like VHS camera, and the first set that I ever brought it to, it was this Western movie that is coming out, I believe is coming out later this year. But it was called A Gunfighter's Deal, and it was the first one that I had ever done on VHS. And I remember like I was just doing it really for me and for my friends and family. And like as I kept doing it, everybody on the set was like, Tommy, like you need to post this. And they were like, because it's really cool because it really just goes to show that there's so many people that have to come together to make a film or a series or any kind of production, and you really like you only really see the actors, but there's so many people that are behind the scenes that are just as much a part of the family as the actors are, and they don't necessarily always get the same amount of credit or the same amount of, you know, round of applause. And I thought that that would be a really cool way to kind of, one, bring people into the amazing world that I love so much and is so near and dear to my heart in a very intimate way. But also, I really wanted to kind of shine a light on the people that you don't see.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with the show, talking about Sweet Magnolias in a sense, there's so many details that go, so much creativity behind the production that you're just never going to know. I mean, you would watch this town on screen and you see this beautiful, lush, homes and these parties and these places,
Yeah.
like Sullivan's and,
Mhm.
like, and you just are like, wow, I want to be, like, you wish you were there. Like, it offers you the lens of, like, you wish you were sitting and sharing a milkshake. You wish you were pouring out a margarita. You wish you were at the homecoming dance, or you wish, like, and it
Yeah.
offers you that great lens of that. being immersed into being a community member of Serenity or being a part of the series, and you don't know the like the vast detailing, like who picked out the set, or picking out like
So much
the way this is
detail,
going to
so much
look,
thought.
or what goes
Yeah.
into on screen and what doesn't. But there are also these minute details that are important, and you may
Yeah.
not notice them the first time you watch, and then you can watch again and you see something different, or you see someone else in the background maybe doing something else. But there's so many people, like you said, that contribute to the show, but you see actors on screen. You don't see the people who are doing the hair and makeup. You don't see the people who are constructing this, or having to put together the wardrobe. Like all the
Yeah.
details that make up what we end up seeing and what we ultimately love about the show.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much that goes into it. It's like you can't even imagine how much of a team effort it is. Like it's like the textbook definition of like a team effort. Like you really need so many people to make a production on that scale, especially. And it's really cool to kind of like bring people into that, even though it's, a world with like a lot of people, it is still so intimate, and it's cool to be able to kind of share that side of it with people.
Have you learned or taken away anything in particular from like these behind the scenes intimate moments, whether it's like about production itself, or maybe something, from the directors, or maybe even like something about like the art of filming these types of moments,
Mhm.
um, that we get to see featured through your, posts that you share through YouTube and posts that you put on like Instagram. Have
Mhm.
you learned anything or taken away something? Are you just
So
doing this specifically just for the fun of it, or
I've
well,
learned so much. Like I am so grateful that I kind of started doing this BTS on VHS thing because it really has taught me a lot. And I think that a few of the things are like one, it really makes you notice like little details. Like I remember going through Maddie's house, like the set of Maddie's house, and I all of my scenes with Carson the season before had been in the cafe. So I had never seen Maddie's house. And then, I'm on the set and I'm looking around and I'm like, it it's so crazy to wrap your brain around the fact that it's a real place when because I had seen the show, and it's so crazy to like see how big it is and to see like the little details in the set and the little details in like, framed pictures of all the kids on the shelves that like you don't even necessarily pay attention to those when you're, watching a series like like the curtains, the color of the curtains matching the color of the pillows on the couch. It's like there's so much that goes into it. Like, so I guess little details, and it's made me a lot more perceptive of, you know, like little artistic things that I maybe didn't even notice before and maybe took for granted. And then it also made me realize, one, how much I love actually being on that side of the camera sometimes is really fun. And I've kind of like barely dipped my toes into like writing screenplays, and I want to eventually direct. And I think a lot of that is because I started doing these VHS things, and I just love them so much. And then also, it made me realize how creative my friends were. Like, because they would take the camera and they would go and find new details that I didn't even see, or, they would capture a moment that I didn't even think to capture. So I think that to sum that all up, I think that what it really made me realize is just the abundance of creativity in my my world.
I love that you get to see so many aspects of the show behind the scenes, and like you're saying, like your character maybe never filmed in this area because that's not part of your storyline, and you have no reason to be at Sullivan's, or you have no reason to be at this particular place, and your character just hasn't even gotten there yet, or like your focus is just being a part of the high school, or like something like that, that you get to capture these moments that your character may not be specifically, of course, a part of, but you as a person, as the actor behind the scenes, making these friendships, having these relationships, going behind the scenes, and really finding the serenity of
Mhm.
within serenity in that spirit of sense, because you're capturing like the laughter, you're capturing people enjoying their job, people doing their job,
Yep.
like the fulfillment that it brings to them. You're capturing like the camaraderie, you're capturing someone who is young and old, like the different dynamics. You're capturing
Yeah.
again, people who maybe you don't share a scene. You're sharing a lot of your character shares a lot of scenes with Carson, like we talk about, and
Mhm.
Annalise. Maybe you get a chance to, interact with someone that you don't get to on screen. You get to spend time with.
Yeah.
Also, again, speaking of people not being on screen, but like the production side again, and the director side of things, or the various elements that go into making the series, and those are kind of the nice cherished moments that you get to see that you're sharing with us, but you're experiencing like we get to experience
Yeah.
like you experience it through that camcorder lens that you give to the VHS type of lens that we see from your features.
Yeah, and also like I sometimes like right now I'm actually like I was doing it all last night. I'm editing another one for a film that I have coming out next month. Uh and I was like editing and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that this happened." So that's really cool. It also is kind of like a keepsake for me. So that's been a really cool part of it as well, is like it's so easy to forget like such amazing time, like the again, the details of like amazing times in your life. So I've always been so big into like documenting as much as I possibly can because I love to like look back on things and like have a more vivid uh memory.
Well, speaking of cherished and special moments, season 4 brought us a lot of turmoil, but of course it got us a lot of light and love, like that great balance that we get within a Sweet Magnolia season. Um, What 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 can you talk about with regard to Olivia and how the great mix that we get to see with her this season, and of course the aspect of the band that we get as well, because there was a lot of open arms for Annie now as the girlfriend, and then there was a lot of other type of tension that
Yeah.
we see at the same, with the double edge there.
Yeah, I think that of course like there's always, a natural worry of like, this couple that you want together so much, like the guy's going off on tour with like his new best girlfriend, like that's such like a scary thing, I think, for viewers. And like also like, like I watch the show and like I want Ty and Annie together like everybody else, But so I'm like, oh man, I hope Olivia's not gonna. But she's really such a joy to play because she's so unique on the way that she goes about things. Like she has this fun little, I love the scene where her and Annie are talking about like her being the guitarist girlfriend and and she's like, "Oh yeah, and I knew you'd be a good one." And I love that scene because she almost like she's very much being a girl's girl, and she's saying like you're with us kind of a thing, but she still kind of like plays with her a little bit on it, like tests her a little bit beforehand. And I think it's all done really playfully and it's all done very lighthearted. And I think that Olivia has really good intentions and she just likes to play with people, and just see what reactions she can get. And she's really fun in that way. And I think that that's really cool. And me and Annalise have also talked about how cool it is that these two girls, like there's so many situations that I think that it could have ended up being two girls that like really just did not like each other and just did not vibe at all. But it's really cool to watch these two girls be like, "Hey, we have nothing to fight about. Like we're on the same side here. We both care about this same guy and want him to succeed." And I think that that's really special and that's really cool to see on screen.
Absolutely. I mean, they both have an ultimate I want to say ultimate goal, but they both have like an ultimate intention.
Mhm.
between them, and but it's the same, but it's in a different it's in different ways. And you can see the way through Olivia's lens, and you can see the way through Annie's lens.
Mm.
But it is wonderful to get to watch a young adult show where the girls are to they support each other, and it's
Yeah.
not to like tear at each other. Olivia's saying things in a playful way, but it's not in a mean, ill-intentioned type of way. It's in
Mhm.
a I'm gonna, like you said, and I'm gonna test you. I might
Mhm.
like tease you, but that's like my playful way of being a friend to you, or like that's just her way with people. And I love that they have that like three different dynamic where he's kind of like, what am I gonna do? Like, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen? And the girls are like, I like you, I like you. And then he's like,
Yeah, you can take a deep breath.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then it gives the audience, someone else to embrace at the same time too. Like, it's not meant to cause a wedge. It's meant to cause like another person who's allowed to be like who's not allowed, but like a part of that small
Yeah.
circle that they create in their like in their specific relationship to the man.
Yes.
They have that support system in there.
Mhm.
And I really love we talked about like the way that this like their Olivia's intentions and the energy and the teasing, but I really love the way that you and Carson and Annalise play so well together in those moments where it's so like cheeky, but like tension, like there's an underlying kind of tension, but there's also like a nice, great playfulness that you three bring together. And I wanted to ask a little bit about getting to film those moments, like you're talking about specifically the moment, where she's like, "Oh, the girlfriend of the guitarist," like, "Oh, you're a good one."
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how that great camaraderie, that great like push pull beat that you guys bring together. Um, how working with how it was to work together, filming these great like moments that we watch between the three of you that feel so like they feel so tension, but like they also feel so fun to tease at the same time.
Yeah, well, a lot of that comes down to having incredible scene partners. The two of them are people that I love dearly. Annalise was literally over my apartment yesterday for Valentine's Day. And then Carson and I have been working together for like 6 years now. We maybe even longer than that. I think this is Carson and I's like third project working together. So so like when you have people like that you can really, really trust in a scene, it's so, and also people that know their characters so well. It's such a cool thing to be able to be a part of. Because they've been playing these characters for years now, and they know them so well and it's really cool to jump into that world as Olivia and do the work beforehand and feel like I know Olivia, and then the playing and the push and pull is so easy in the moment because the personal chemistry is there, but also the characters chemistry is there, and it's just, I think it comes from just working with great people, and also they also happen to be great actors. So it makes it so easy on me to have them. But yeah, yeah.
I really love the dynamics and the breaths that kind of come in between. Sometimes they're palpable, sometimes they're playful, sometimes they're lighthearted, sometimes you just never know what's gonna come from Olivia.
Yeah.
It's like a mix, but you can't wait to watch more of the three of them on screen, or the more of Olivia and Ty together, because you want to know what's gonna happen with the band, or you want to know, what's gonna happen to the relationships now that he's going to be going away. You're kind of like on edge, but you want more at the same time. You,
Yeah.
you get you get that double that couch cushion like the good
Yeah.
couch cushion tug that you're like, when is it going to be another scene? Like, when are we going to get more? This is what are we gonna what's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's such a interesting dynamic between, the three of them. It's and it's really fun to play with, you know. It's I mean even like even while we're doing these scenes, like it's just fun. Like I feel like I remember when we were doing that scene specifically, like there were moments that we were like, oh, like that it almost felt a little different than I think we saw it in our heads. But then like when you get there and you're doing it and you're not just, you know, reading through your lines and you know your brain is like predicting how they're going to say theirs, but you're in the moment and in the scene and it's like, oh, that like that whole scene felt different than I saw it in my head, but like what a wonderful surprise, you know. So that's really cool. And you know, like I said, like that just comes down to working with people that are wonderful at what they do.
I had an opportunity, the wonderful opportunity to chat with both Carson and Annalise, and the amount of reverence that they have for the characters, and of course the show itself, and like you said, getting to work with each other for so long, and having the ideas about their characters, individuals, the characters in the relationship, out of a relationship, friendship,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
they have all sides of it, and I'm just absolutely like so impressed by the work that they do together, and the work again from everybody involved on Sweet Magnolias, from Cheryl and the directors like Norman and everybody who has a hand in making this series. It just comes from top to everybody says it like comes from top to bottom because it really
Yeah.
does.
Yes. No, that's a perfect way to put it. It's just it really is from I always tell people like from the moment that I stepped foot on that set, it just felt like a family. It just felt like I mean, the first day that I was ever on set on last season, I remember like a bunch of different people came up to me and like made a point to come up to me and be like, "Welcome to Serenity." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you people real?" Like that's crazy. That's crazy. I've never like seen such a overly welcoming cast. And this was a cast that like they had already had their established family. You know, I'm coming in season 3 and you know, I'm new girl in town and it never felt like I was. You know, it felt like it was just immediately welcome to Serenity. You're part of the family now. And that's so special. And it really does come from the top and Cheryl and Norman and it's really, really great to work with people that prioritize that bond and that friendship and keeping that, you know, alive and well.
I wanted to ask from your behind the scenes features or from at least your experiences from behind the scenes, what's your favorite part of Serenity? Is there a corner of it that you love, or is there a part of it that you maybe haven't explored yet that you're looking forward to at maybe another time?
Yeah, you know, I don't think I've never been in Sullivan's. I've never been in Sullivan's. I also really would love to be in the same scene as Harlan Drum because we're actually very good friends in real life, and so we've always said it would be we want like Cece and Olivia to interact really badly. So we think that that would be really funny. I mean, we went to the same middle school, like we've been friends forever. So that would be fun. And then yeah, I've never been in Sullivan's, so I think that would be super cool. I gave myself a tour of all the houses, but yeah, so I just I mean that's the whole thing about this town that they've created. It feels so real and every corner of it just feels like you're unlocking some like magical little world. It's really so cool. It is. It's like a magical little pocket of the world.
It's Serenity, but it's Atlanta, is that correct?
Yep.
What have you well, I grew up in Atlanta actually. So
Oh.
I love Atlanta, and to hear the series is shot there is kind of like a little spot in my heart myself. What have you
Yeah.
enjoyed about getting to film in such a special and beautiful southern city?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Atlanta was it holds such a special place in my heart. I really, really loved filming in Atlanta. I took a lot of walks, and it was so cool because there was this one walk because I have a gluten allergy. So my mom and I, there was this gluten-free bakery that we were staying near. Um, so my mom and I would take these walks to this gluten-free bakery like very often. And it was just the most beautiful walk. And I remember this one park that we passed by all the time. And it was like, it was always like there was like flowers in the trees. And like, I think there was like an angel statue next to like a lake, or not a lake, but like a pond. And it was just so, I don't even know the name of it, but it was so, it became like our like little ritual. Like we did it all the time. We would just take this walk, and we would always make sure we went by this park. And it was just, it was real. I loved like that because you know that I feel like I've said this a million times already, but like I'm such a details person. I really love like paying attention to like the little things. So like that angel statue, like every time we pass it, we'd like wave, you know? And then there was also, I love parks. I love parks because I'm a big, like I love taking walks. I'm a big walk person. And so that one. And then also there was, I think it was the first scene that Carson and I had this season, um, which was when we're like laying on the he's playing the song about Annie, and we're laying down on the picnic table the day, and I'm like telling him, I'm like, you need to go get the girl, you know. But that scene, I don't even remember the name of the park, but we shot it at this park, and the sunset like over, there was like a lake and like like a line of trees, and I kind of got it in the VHS thing. But there was this sunset, and it was like it came through the trees, and it was just like the color. It was one of the most beautiful and I'm a big sunset person. It was one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen in my life. It was so gorgeous, and it just didn't even look real. It looked like it was like a painting. So that was really, really, really cool and special. And you know, I grew up in Florida. So basically, like it was, I you don't really get views like that in Florida. So, and I mean you get beautiful ones, but just very different. So I was like so stunned by like this line of trees and this like, and then there was, you know, there was a million restaurants that I went to in Atlanta that I dream about. Um, there are so many good ones. Like I even feel bad like naming one because there were so many that I was so excited to get back to when I like, because I had a break in between episodes because Carson and I went on tour. So on that break, I kept being like, oh my gosh, when I get back, I gotta go here, I gotta go here, I gotta go here. I started missing it all so much, but yeah, it's a really, really special place.
Yes, I grew up in Atlanta from age 3 to 15, and there's just nothing like it in the world about the Southern energy or like the air or like there's something like there's the aura of Atlanta, you know, like the vibe of Atlanta. And then we moved to Florida and I went to finished high school and I went to college at FSU because I was like, I need trees. Like I need southern. Like I grew up with these beautiful like pine trees and the changing of the leaves and it gets cold in Florida. Like there's a palm tree. There's a palm tree. There's a palm tree.
And it does not get cold.
It does not get cold. So I'm like, I
No.
need, like, I miss that southern, like, I miss that, like,
Yeah.
that spirit, that light, that, like, sun, like, just the hospitality, as I call it, of course. Like, there's nothing like that. And then, when you come to South Florida again, it's just, like, totally different. You don't get the same, you just don't get it. So I totally understand you when you say, like, just Atlanta has just its own beauty and its own
Yeah,
special
it's very
quality.
specific to Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah. So going to FSU, I was like, I need the brick houses. I need to see like real
Yeah.
public. I need to get that. And like I have to so FSU was perfect. And I had a whole thing with like Logan and Carson about FSU and US.
Hmm.
That's from our comrade of our
The
rivalry.
Florida boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a whole thing with them in that regard. You're not gonna have Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll stay out of that one.
Well, I want to just kind of close things out to just ask if there is anything maybe we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk a little bit more about, or something that's another project coming up. That I know you, of course, mentioned like a film will be coming out here, shortly as well. But is there anything that you can kind of like tease or share about, or would like to make sure we mention before?
Yeah, I have two westerns and a thriller coming out this year. The thriller, I believe, is coming out, I want to say my literally like right before I jumped on here, my friend from that set just texted me and said that he like found it in a in like a TV guide. Um, but I believe that that comes out March 2nd, and that was the one that Tori Spelling is in that, and I play her daughter, and I believe it's either going to be called Lost in the Everglades or Abducted in the Everglades because Lost in the Everglades is the original title, but the thing that he just sent me says Abducted. So it's one of the two. And then so that's March 2nd, I believe, according to him. And then there is Gunfighter's Deal, which I actually wrote an original song for, and that's going to be on the soundtrack, and I'm really, really excited about that. And that was my first ever VHS video, so that will be for that. And I have VHSs for all of these. And then there's also Florida Wild, and that's going to be coming out sometime this year. So I'm very excited for all of them, and I will have so much BTS for all of it. My whole Instagram and YouTube is just going to be BTS, which is the way I prefer it. I love it. I think it's fun, and I love to invite people into that part of my life. So.
Well, not only do I want to thank you, of course, for the opportunity again to chat with you and discuss everything Sweet Magnolias and get your perspective on
Yeah.
filming and the wonderful work that you do with the features, but I just want to say thank you for sharing so much of your life with us, or life behind scenes with us, and getting to explore with you, because it really does offer us, when we get to watch, the opportunity to feel like we're heading to set with you, or we're hanging out with you, or like we're getting to learn a little bit more about something that we love, or show that we love, or see what goes on behind what we get to see on screen. So thank you for sharing all that with us, and putting your hard work and all the effort that goes into editing
Oh,
and
well, thank you. I love doing it. I enjoy every second of it. I always tell my mom, I'm like, because she's like, oh, you spent, because I really do. I spent a lot of time editing those VHS vlogs. Because so much of it is just like, like random trees somewhere, and I just like, I gotta get that out. But I spent so much time editing those, and she's always like, oh my gosh, that takes up so much of your time. Like that's such hard work. And I'm like, yeah, it's really hard work, but like I love every single second of it. I could relive those memories for forever. Like I love doing it. I really do. Like every single second of it. It's so great. I really just I love my job. I love what I do so much. And I love that I've kind of like found like a way, like a little way to like kind of share that with like anybody who wants to watch and be a part of it and see what happens on set. So so thank you for watching it, and thank you for saying that. That means a lot.